Oh, okay. Okay, good. The other half of it was off. Test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Let me go over here. Test 1, 2, 3. I think that's good, Paul. And you'll mute me. I don't have to do it myself.
No, I'm still not clear on what channel.
We don't need to use this.
What?
We don't need this.
This?
No. Can you put mute? Am I muted now?
I don't know. That's what you should. So yeah, I'll unmute you. Those are both hot. I mean, they're off right now, but those will work. Those will both work. I just have them muted.
Would you please rise for the singing of the first hymn?
You all can be seated. We pour the water to remind us that we all share in a common baptism that draws us together, even as we gather in sacred memory. God be with you.
And also with you.
Would you join me in a spirit of prayer? Gracious and loving God, you are our dwelling place from whom we come and to whom our spirits return. You are also a refuge and strength as we grieve our loss. Comfort us in this mourning process and turn our mourning into dancing as we remember and celebrate the life of our beloved sister and friend, Juliet Rose Skyers. Holy One, your love is abundant and overflowing and ever-flowing, and you have made clear that nothing in life or even in death can separate us from this great love. So lift our eyes and our hearts to see and feel the fullness of your love and grace. Inspire us to live fully into your love and to share it with others, remembering the example of Juliet, who did her best to do this, to share your love and presence with those around her. Amen.
Welcome, everyone. Juliet's family and friends, members of the Church of the Village or Metropolitan Duane United Methodist Church. We're gathered this afternoon to share in our common grief, our mourning at the loss of Juliet, and to celebrate Juliet's life, and to give thanks to God for the gift that she was to all of us. I want to invite Karen to come forward now and to read for us the first scripture reading. Yep, just hold it nice and close, and then everybody will be able to hear on Zoom. Actually, it's this one.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
My name is Karen Mussington, and I am one of Mrs. Skyers, affectionately known as Auntie Juliet's goddaughters. I will be reading the scripture, Psalm 121, verses 1 through 8. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. God will not let your foot be moved. The one who keeps you will not slumber. The one that keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. God will keep your life. The Lord will keep you going out and you're coming in from this time and forevermore. This is the word of the Lord.
And invite us to stand for the hymn of praise.
this helps. And just hold the mic nice and close.
Okay. Okay. Hello, church. My name is Jillian, and I'm another goddaughter for Aunt Juliet. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is God that made us, and to God we belong. We are God's people and the sheep of God's pasture. Enter God's gates with thanksgiving and the courts with praise. Give thanks to God, bless God's name. For the Lord is good. God's steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations.
I and the Church of the Village join together with Juliet's whole family in mourning her loss. There are a very small number of persons in the Church of the Village community who have been members as long as Juliet, as most of you know. In just a few minutes, Gary Gordon will share a eulogy about Juliet's life, and I encourage you also to read the obituary that's printed in the bulletin, which was provided by Juliet's family. I'm going to focus my remarks, therefore, primarily on Juliet's relationship to faith and to the Methodist Church. I was going to say United Methodist Church, but she began in the Jamaican Methodist Church. And then, as you know, as a child and as a teenager, she grew up in the Methodist Church in Buff Bay, Jamaica. She and her family took their faith very seriously, and that meant that you had to be committed to be involved, and regular attendance at worship and Bible studies and all kinds of activities that the church was doing. And then when she moved to New York City, after studying in London, Juliet began worshiping in this building, which was, the congregation was then called Metropolitan Duane United Methodist Church. And that was probably in the early 1970s. We don't know the exact date. Lorna doesn't know exactly when they came because she came a couple years later, but Lorna told me that Merle was the one who actually found the church because she was working not far from here, a little south on Houston Street, at the Village Rehabilitation Facility, or it might have been called the Village Nursing Home at that time. And Merle then convinced Juliet to come, and then Lorna joined them in 1974. And all three of them, we found in the church records, all three of them officially became members of the congregation on May 22nd, 1984, but had by that time already been worshiping with the congregation here for a long time. So the Metropolitan Duane Church became part of what's now called Church of the Village in 2005. So there are several members who are still around from that congregation that joined together with two other congregations in 2005. And all of this means that Juliet was active in this congregation for over 50 years. That's quite something. And over that time, she shared her life of committed faith as a follower of Jesus with many dear friends in this church family. And Juliet was active in the Bible study group, in prayer groups, in helping to organize the regular time of fellowship after worship, which was usually called coffee hour then. And Gary and I were talking a little bit about that before the service today. And she was also, importantly, a very faithful member of the United Methodist Women, which usually in Methodist churches is a very important organization. In the early years of their time, the three sisters' time in the Metropolitan Duane Church, and then later other friends and family joined, there arose a significant conflict in the early 1970s within the congregation when a small number of the members of the church pushed for the bishop to move or remove the very effective pastor who was here at the time, named Ed Egan, who happened to be gay. And Reverend Egan was forced out of ordained ministry in 1977 for that reason. And Lorna told me that at the time there were a lot of gay men in the church. This part of Greenwich Village was kind of a gay mecca, and but she said that related to her experience of growing up in Jamaica, that was not a very acceptable thing in Jamaica and in her upbringing, but that when they came to the church here, that didn't stop them from joining the church because the church was part of their lives. They wanted to be part of a Methodist church, and this seemed to be a very warm and welcoming community. So she said, it didn't bother us at all. We accepted them just like they accepted us. It was not a problem. And I admire that so much. To take a stance of accepting each person for who they are and who they were at the time. And that was at a time when that was a quite unpopular thing to do. Later, Juliet volunteered with Hope for Our Neighbors in Need, which was the emergency food program hosted by the Church of the Village for a long time. It's now called the Red Door Place. And it seems to me that Juliet's works of service and the fact that she chose nursing as her vocation are expressions of the ways that she tried to live out what it means to be a disciple, a follower of Jesus. At the same time, I can see, and I hope you could see also on the galleries of photos in the back and what you saw up on the screen as we were gathering for the service, how much you can see in Juliet's face, how much she loved life and got joy out of living. And I believe that that's a part of what God desires for all of us, to love and to serve others, and also to do that with as much joy and laughter and care and compassion for each other as possible. I think it's God's hope for us that we will discover our truest and our best selves in compassionate care for those around us and in deep and loving relationships with those who are closest to us, especially family and also friends and partners and spouses and so on. And I think that description fits Juliet's life from what I know about her, and most of you know her much better than I do, but she gave so much of herself, not only to her family and to her patients, to her co-workers, but also to this community of faith. She showed herself to be a woman of strong faith and character. And so I really thank God. I thank God for Juliet's life and for her faithful commitment to this community for so long, for so many decades. And now I want to invite Gary to come forward and share the eulogy about Juliet's life with us.
Good afternoon, family and friends. My name is Gary Gordon. I'm Juliet's first. I need a mic. I'm sorry.
So that way everybody online will hear you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm Gary Gordon, Juliet's first nephew. As Pastor Wells just said, she was a woman of faith. So before I read the obituary, I would like to make some personal remarks. These are very personal. I won't be very long. Brave. She was brave. A risk taker, forward thinker. She was savvy financially, a world traveler, and I wouldn't owe her justice by going through it. So I'm going to go through some very brief remarks by decades, and these are personal experience. So early 1962, I'm at Palisades Airport, now known as Norman Manley in Kingston, Jamaica. She's getting on a plane, and from speaking to her, I would ask her, why were you going to England? I'm not sure when the British government started this program, but maybe in the 40s, by the 60s, she knew that there was a program that the British government, because Jamaica is a Commonwealth of England, they had a program where they would recruit teenagers, men and women from the islands then, to come to England to study nursing. And she said she heard about this program and she applied and she was accepted. She said she was on the last plane. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. She was on the last plane to get there. I'm thinking that she had a deadline and she had to check in by a certain date. So I would ask her, why did you fly? Why did you take an airplane? Because later that year, her older sister, my mom, was also went to England and she went on a boat. So I said, she was smart also, smart. So I said, why did you fly? She said, well, because I was on the last plane. But I believe that she knew all this and she knew that she had to get there yesterday. So she flew. So because of her, I got to see airplanes take off and land at Palisades Airport for the first time. This is in the early 60s, right? I didn't see her again until I was 11 years old. My sister and I migrated to the United States January 1st, 1971. Guess who was on the airplane with us? BOAC, now known as British Airways. Back then it was British Overseas Airways Corporation, right? By the way, the plane that she took in 1962 was Pan Am to England. I didn't see her again until I was 11 years old. On the flight, my first time on an airplane, and she was on the plane with me, I was comforted by her, so she has empathy, she's empathetic, and she introduced me to broccoli for the first time. So because of her, I tasted broccoli for the first time. So this is early in my life, this is part of my memory of her, and she still lives inside of me. In 1979, she gave birth to her only daughter, Princess Rose. Princess Rose. And back then, she didn't know that, I would say, when Princess started school, I think maybe first or second grade, she didn't know then that she was actually helping Geneva and I in teaching us on how to be parents. She would send her daughter to visit us everywhere. This is in the 80s now. I'm in the 80s now, okay? Everywhere that we've been in the world. Panama City, Florida, Princess might have been 6 or 7. So as soon as Princess was out of school, she was with Geneva and I. So she was helping us to become parents. This is 86, probably. Princess was probably 6 or 7 then. 86 because Janice gave birth to our first daughter in 1985, Tiara. So she had given us, she started, and Princess was 6, and we had to take care of her. She sent her in, school was out by in May or June. I'm looking on this side. Maybe I should move to this side now, right? So she would send Princess, Panama City, Florida, when Princess was 6. Janice and I was learning to become parents. She helped us. This is the 80s. Now, the 90s, she was also funny. Early 80s, her brother-in-law was driving us to the airport, and we're driving to Kennedy Airport, and a car just I guess the Grand Central just jumped out onto the highway, and she says, "Wow, that car to jump out just like a rabbit." And we looked at her and said, it is a rabbit. In the late 70s, everyone, all of her sisters, there are 6 of them. She had 5 sisters. They were all my mom. They all had stereo systems, so she decided to go out and buy stereo systems. Every time I would visit her, she would say, "How do you turn it on again? How you turn it up if you want to hear the music louder?" This is in the 80s. Now, we're in Europe, Janice and I. We visited a dear friend of hers in Switzerland, and I've heard about Campari, so she introduced Janice and I, because of her, we tried Campari for the first time. So when her friend poured the Campari, and I've heard about it because Campari, how many of you have heard of this? Campari on ice is nice. So that Campari, after 2 sips of the Campari, it was about 30 feet on the grass over her shoulder. It's highly overrated, Campari. Because of her, I tried Campari. I'm going to close with this. When I turned 21, she said to me, "Gary, when you gonna stop date them pian gal there and ask my goddaughter out on a date?" So I did, and I would say early. This is in the late 70s, right? So early 80s, I did ask her goddaughter, and she said yes. Janice and I have been together for 45 years, and October 12th of this year, we'll celebrate 40 years of marriage. So God used her as a vessel to bring Janice and I together. I just wanted to say that. Those were my personal notes. My personal. Juliet Rose Skyers was born on June 6, 1940 in Buff Bay, Portland, Jamaica. She was the 3rd child of Aaron and Princess Skyers. She attended the Buff Bay Primary School and later went on to Bradford Academy to further her education. As a child and teenager, she attended the Buff Bay Methodist Church. In 1962, she migrated to London, England to pursue a career in nursing. After obtaining her nursing degree, she worked in London for several years as a nurse, midwife at North Kent Hospital. Juliet came to New York City in 1969 and worked as a nurse at Beth Israel Hospital for 8 years. She later worked at Grosvenor Hospital in the pediatrics department, faithfully serving for over 30 years as a head nurse until her retirement. Juliet was kind, compassionate, fun-loving person. She enjoyed traveling, dancing, and socializing with family and friends. Juliet was actively involved with the Friends of West Portland, an organization created to improve her hometown in Jamaica. Juliet has mentored, inspired, and supported many to pursue higher education and advance their careers. Juliet loved her church community and attended the Methodist Duane United Methodist Church and the Church of the Villages over 40 years. Juliet is survived by her daughter, Princess, granddaughter, Iselin, sisters, Florida, and Sonia, niece, Prudence, nephew, Gary, Dwayne, and Travis, great nieces, Tiara, and Nicolette, great niece, great grandniece, Phoenix, Violet, and Isabel, and great grandnephew Mark Jr. We celebrate the life of our dear Juliet Rose Skyers. Let us be comforted knowing that she was truly blessed and is now at rest. Before I go, I just want to say a few more things. She was in a sisterhood of nurses, and a few of them are here today. Her traveling partner, she was a world traveler. She had visited every single English-speaking Caribbean island. She had traveled to every single Western European country, and this is in the 70s. Thank you. Thank you.
So now we want to offer an opportunity for anyone else who would like to say a few words about your relationship with Juliet, or a short story or something. Try to keep it brief so we can allow as many people as possible to speak. And I want to invite first anyone from the family who would like to say something. And we'll bring the mic to you. You don't have to come up here. Princess, do you want to come up? Okay, okay.
Hello? Yep. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'll stand. My name is Princess Rose Skyers. I did not plan anything to necessarily say because everyone mourns differently, and mine is a bit more internal. But I just want to thank you guys so much for coming, because I know how much you love my mother and how much she loved this church. And I'll just say a little bit, because I grew up in this church. I was pretty much born in this church. And at the time, the pastor was Pastor Ishii. Mm-hmm. And I used to have to go to Bible school one-on-one with him every Sunday in that office.
Oh boy.
And learn every scripture, everything. You know, how does it start, Jenica? I was trying to think of the order of the scriptures, so I had to learn that. And I had to write an essay after each sermon, okay? And then when I was 12, I got confirmed, and I made a presentation in front of the entire church about the Bible, what it taught me, what it teaches us as a church, as a community, and how to love God and to love each other in the way that God has taught us to. So this church has really been the foundation for me, a home for me. I know this is your home now, and I'll have to come visit. But
Please.
yeah, so it's been a big foundation for me. I've been involved in the Disney plays. This is way back in the day, Mary Poppins, all that. So my mother made sure that church and God was in the center of my life. I've been coming here every Sunday faithfully, even though sometimes I did not want to get up. I did it because I respect the church, of course, but I also respect her and her values and how much she loved the church and how important it was to her. So even though I didn't want to do it, I did it because that's how much I love her and that's how much I know she loved her faith. So yeah, that's really it. I do want to comment though on what you said about the gay pride. So, you know, that is a very controversial thing in the Caribbean community. And, you know, I was so touched by the way that she really thought about fairness and what's right in this world and for everyone to have the same chance as everyone. And she and Auntie Merle and Auntie Esme, they marched in that gay pride parade. Yes, they did, with our pastor, with, you know, all of the community, all races, you know, all ages and backgrounds. And it was really beautiful because no matter what she really thought or understood about the whole concept, she knew that everyone deserved to be loved and to deserve to be loved just as God loved everyone. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you all again for coming. And, you know, I say, you know, if you cry, cry happy tears. You know, we're celebrating a beautiful life and a beautiful woman who touched so many people. So for me, you know, I can't cry in a way. Sometimes I just think of her and smile and keep it at that. But if you do, just remember how lovely she was and turn those into happy tears. Okay, thank you.
We can bring the mic to you if there's anyone who'd like to share.
I would like to say a pleasant, good afternoon or good evening to everyone. I really didn't come here with a planned speech, but if the opportunity, you know, the opportunity is given to us, and I want to say, first of all, my name is Claudette Bell, and I am the daughter of Julie's, I would say, best friend. And so I couldn't sit in my seat hearing the opportunity being given for us to come up and to say something. My mother's name was Mary Dixon Hart, and she and Julie were nurses together in England for many years, and they migrated here, and their friendship was very, very strong. I remember that my mother was very supportive of Julie. They were very supportive of each other. And also I was in the middle. Julie, over the years, when my mother passed away, unfortunately, 24 years now, I remember Julie always called me and encouraged me. She was very good with, if you know Julie very closely, she was very good at finances, and she used to encourage me how to, invest my money and so forth. So it's very, very hard, at times like this, to think of someone that you know who supported you and you know very closely, and to think that they're no longer in any part of the world for you to call or for them to call you. So really my condolence goes out to Julie's family, who, Julie's from a very noble Jamaican family. And so I have received support from them. Esme, Sonia, I was very close to. But I just want to, extend my condolences to the family. I'll pray for you that the Lord will continue to comfort you. And Esme will be in touch. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would be amiss if I came here this afternoon and I did not say something about my schoolmate and my friend. My name is Pauline Irving, née Minot, Polly Minot. Juliet and myself met at Bradford Academy in 1956-57. I was a little country bumpkin girl of 11 years of age, I used to ride a bicycle from Rose Hill down to Buff Bay. And the other kids were teasers. They used to tease me. And I was very uncomfortable in the situation at school, but Juliet took me under her wings. And she certainly was a good friend to me. Over the years, she extended her kindness, she extended her graces to me. She taught me, don't worry about them, I'll teach you how to crochet. And so she taught me how to crochet, and we grew up together. In fact, the trip that she made to England, she said to me, Polly, let you and I go to England and learn to be nurses. My father said, I don't know where two teenage girls like you're going. She can go, but you're not going. And so there it was. But over the years, we have kept in touch. I was in Jamaica completing my teacher training college while she was in England and she came to the United States. I finally came to the United States. I must say that she is the godmother of my firstborn son, Anthony Irving. And actually, she had given him a name. His name should have been Garth Dwight Irving. And that name went to the third child, good, the third son. But anyway, over the years, we have kept in touch. When she came into Jamaica, we always visited with each other. And as I came into this country, I visited her. And we belong to the same group, Friends of West Portland, being from the town of Buff Bay, and wanted to do something for the improvement of our community. As the years went by and she got sick, I called her on the phone, yes, and we always promised to visit. But it so happened that I didn't visit. But I remember her fondly. I remember the days that I was at her home, she would come up to the country and she would get fruits, and I remember her specifically for her defense of me and the love she showed. I want to express my condolences to the sisters and to her daughter and her nephew and nieces, because I knew them well when they were young. Now that I'm older, young people, you get old and they get to their peak, so sometimes they don't remember. But sincere condolences to you, and I continue to pray for the comfort that only God can give in these times of grief.
Gary Gordon again. I did say she was funny. I did tell you that, but I didn't tell you the story. At her retirement party, the chief of surgery at Grosvenor Hospital, he was telling a story that a mom came in with a 3-year-old and he had something stuck in his nose. They didn't know what it was. They knew that it was a foreign object. So she said, oh no, hold on a minute. She went to her locker, got a little package of black pepper, sprinkled it in her hand, and put it on his nose, and he sneezed, and a marble rolled out. And so common sense, and it's funny. She had common. Do you think that's funny? I thought it was funny.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dolores. Everybody know me as Deli Mullins. I won't repeat what everybody said. We are all from Buff Bay. Most of us, Buff Bay, Portland, Jamaica, belong to a group, Friends of West Portland. She was a very, very generous person. She was one of the main organizers when we have events. She was the treasurer, She was funny. When we have cookout, you could expect to see Juliet come in some real nice outfit. And when you see Juliet before she even talks, you start laughing. She just spread that joy. And, you know, just picturing her now. You know, it's sad to see her go. We miss her because, you know, the fun, but it's life. And we just want to say our deepest sympathy to every member of the family, daughter, granddaughter, nieces, nephews, friends, and everybody. And for those members of Friends of West Portland who would have liked to be here but could not because of certain reasons, we just extend on behalf of Friends of West Portland, and we just will continue to keep our memories alive, okay? Blessings.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Samantha, Aunt Esme's goddaughter. This is my mom, Genevieve Brown. She is well known to the whole sisters way back. For Auntie Juliet, it really moves me because, as you know, Esme Skies is my goddaughter. If she scolds me, and Auntie Juliet knows, she says, come over. And I go over, and then she will give me a little soul spirit to make me feel better. And then afterwards, Auntie Juliet's phone would ring, and then she says, Esme, she's here. Why is she over there? Okay, I'm here because Auntie Juliet called me, and we're just having a conversation. Let me tell you, all the sisters are close, but you see those two, Auntie Juliet and Aunt Esme, it's a bond, it's a group where a group is more than 3, but those 2 is more than a group because one will scold you, the other will confine you. And then both of them, I can remember always, they're in my skin with nursing because everybody's in healthcare. Come out of that, do nursing. And let me tell you, I'm gonna miss her so much. My condolences to all the family, but she's a blessing in disguise. And who is left? Auntie Sonia and Auntie Esme. The sisters, they are a bundle of joy to the whole world. My down.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicolette Gordon, and I am the great niece of Juliet. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long.
Friends, let us stand for the singing of the hymn.
Would you join with me in responding to our final prayer? For the many ways that Juliet Skyers brightened and inspired our lives, we give you thanks, O God. Because we know that you have received her into your extravagant, unbounded love and mercy, we give you thanks, O God. Because she is a sheep of your own fold, a lamb of your own flock, a soul of your own redeeming. We give you thanks, O God. Loving God, help us to serve you in this world as Juliet did, so that we too may enter into your joy in the life to come. Into your loving hands we commend your beloved daughter. Amen.
You may be seated. I want to let you know following the service for a repast that is out this door in the front of the sanctuary and then down to the bottom level, either by the stairs or by the elevator to the basement. And also, please note on page 6 of your bulletin the information about making a donation in memory of Juliet. And let's draw our spirits together. Beloved, may faith, hope, and love go with each of us from this place. May all that was good and loving and joyful in Juliet live on in you. May we strive to continue her example of giving herself in love and compassion for others. Go in peace.
I'm so sorry.
They were known as the Three Sisters.
Oh, that's so lovely. I love them. That's so nice.
They were.
Thank you, lovely choir. Great job.
I was telling her when I came to this church, they were known as the Three Sisters. Yeah, it's like the Three Kings. What, you know, it's the Three Sisters. If you or a friend, or if you knew, or if you were lucky enough to marry one of the Three Sisters, you were a top door person.